with the invasion into Gaza, leading to over 1 million people on the brink of starvation, tens of thousands of civilians dead, former President Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, has proposed his solution to the conflict: the forced migration of Palestinians into the desert so he could commercially develop Gaza's waterfront. I'm not kidding. During an interview with Tarek Masoud, the faculty chair of Harvard's Middle East Initiative, Kushner said, quote, that Gaza's waterfront property could be very valuable if people would focus on building up livelihoods. Well, who? The area, he said, could have had great potential if all the money in Gaza had gone to education and innovation instead of the tunnel network and munitions. Oh, you see, if only they could have been slumlords like Jared Kushner instead of fighting against the Israeli occupation. Yes, that's it. Look, there's some issues here. For one, Palestinians live in an open-air prison. They don't exactly have the resources to build a bunch of condos and hotels on the waterfront, okay? But who are we kidding? He's not talking about the Palestinians building anything. No, he's talking about the Israelis coming in, stealing it, the waterfront, kicking out the Palestinians, and developing it into real estate. That's what it is. In fact, he had suggested displacing the remaining Palestinians from this valuable waterfront and dropping them in the middle of the desert, the Negev desert specifically. He said, quote, I would just bulldoze something in the Negev. I would try to move people in there. I know that won't be the popular thing to do. No kidding. But I think that's a better option to do so that you can go in and finish the job. He wants to finish the job, everybody. Just dump these people in the desert, you know? So people come so we can make some money. You know what I'm saying? No, I know what you're saying, and it's absolutely disgusting. You know that the Jewish Virtual Library describes the Negev as, quote-unquote, oppressively hot and filled with more dirt, rocks, and canyons, which are no less forbidding than sand dunes. It's a desert. Can't really live there. Okay? Can't really make much of a living out there. Not that Jared Kushner gives a damn that he would be sentencing hundreds of thousands of people to what is essentially a death march. I mean, what do you think is going to happen when you forcibly move over 1 million people to the desert? I mean, it's going to be an incredible atrocity that Jared Kushner's like, so we can develop the waterfront, obviously. Because those Palestinians, they're not doing it. Yeah, they kind of have other things to worry about. Now, when asked about concerns that Palestinians would be prohibited from returning to Gaza, Kushner said, I'm not sure there's much left of Gaza at this point. Well, you can thank the IDF for that. He then said, hey man, look, I'm just sitting on Miami Beach right now, and I'm looking at the situation, and I'm thinking, what would I do if I was there? Not what would you do if you were a Palestinian, but what would I do if me, Jared Kushner, slumlord extraordinaire, an incredibly wealthy person who is backed by $2 billion worth of Saudi money, what would I do if I was there? I would develop the waterfront, obviously, real estate. I'm going to make myself richer. Of course, that's the only thing I care about. Palestinian lives, whatever. That's what he says. In fact, when asked if Israel should allow a Palestinian state, Kushner said it would be a super bad idea. It would be essentially rewarding an act of terror. Oh. A Palestinian state would be the only way to actually protect Israel and the Palestinians. Yes, I know, by allowing them, self-determination, freedom, that whole thing. Which as Americans, we're supposed to believe in freedom and self-determination, right? But apparently not when it comes to Palestinians. Can't have that. Or as his father said,
can't let that happen.
Look, the Palestinians, when it comes to statehood, they've been appealing to get statehood for decades. And those appeals to the UN have fallen on deaf ears. You know why? Because the U.S. has veto authority. And every time they try to, hey, we need a state. Please, just give us a state so we can have some self-determination and, this illegal occupation of Gaza, please. Or at least, hey, why don't you have the Israelis stop building illegal settlements? That would be great. The United States comes in and says, veto, veto, veto. We don't care about Palestinians. That's it. They have absolutely no voice in the United Nations. So I got to ask you, and I know you're not going to like the answer, because I don't like the answer, but what's left when diplomacy fails? When you have no voice? Well, nothing good. And this is a situation that has played out for decades. This is not a new thing. This has happened since the founding of the Israeli state. That's it. And yet, here's Kushner, and by the way, Donald Trump, saying, Israel, they should just come finish the job, get rid of the Palestinians, kick them out, do ethnic cleansing, I don't care, so that the investors can come in and make us some money. That's what he's saying right here. Understand that this was the man handpicked by Donald Trump to find peace in the Middle East during the Trump administration. If you think, I got problems with the way that Biden has handled this as well, okay? And so let's be very, very clear on that, right? But when you're looking at what a Trump administration would be like for the Palestinians, for Israel-Palestine, you've got very clear examples of Kushner, the man who was already tasked with peace in that area, and Trump, both saying, final solution, get him out of there. Don't care how. Throw him into the toss him into the desert. I really don't care. So that we can do real estate development. I mean, it's just callous and disgusting and just horrifying.